Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gen V review series, the season finale of season 2. Yeah, I lost track of where we're right now. I am, I guess, still the number one Kylo Ren fanboy dressed now. Go check out our impromptu Cantina conversations. I was late, so I had no nickname, but I'm joined by
I am the chosen one, Taylor Field.
yes, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we're gonna talk Gen V. This is the end of that. We are pretty much done now. Shows like obviously we got it starting out this weekend, but we're officially out of that big slog, which was a fun time, but for us very hard to balance life and content wise. But yeah, you can go back this whole summer. Alien Earth, Peacemaker, Dexter, Gen V, we're in that. But yeah, we'll be reviewing it. And then sometime in December, whenever we get a date, we'll review Fallout. But yeah, now we're back to nice 1 week shows, one show like a month right now. So that's nice. But this has still been a good time. So yeah, head down below for links for everything you need to know. That has everything. The Discords, you can chat with us, the video feeds, the audio feeds, Patreon, where you get this episode and every episode ad free. You get a bunch of exclusives. We got 2 exclusive episodes up there right now, the Running Man retrospective and the Bike Riders retrospective. So check out that. 2 very fun episodes. And yeah, lots of good stuff up there. After 9 is this Friday, 6 p.m. PST. It's going to be a good time just talking. Maybe we'll talk about that scary movie list, a bunch of that type of stuff. So yeah, those are all the benefits you get on Patreon. And then Extra Life is just around the corner, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Taylor Field, how did you feel about the season 2 finale of Gen V? Also, we speculated a lot of what would be the closure. It was funny last week we were talking about if there would even be a season 3, and then the day after, Eric Krept was like, "Yeah, if there's a viewers, it's there." So that's the plan. But what were your thoughts on the ending here? Were you satisfied? Were you wanting more? Are you excited for future adventures with these characters potentially?
I am always down to get future adventures. I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed the things that we got, but there are still things in this finale that were rushed and left uh poorly written. I think they could have done things a little bit differently in this finale. And again, this finale is 40 minutes coming off of what, like a half hour, 35-minute like semi-finale episode, so we really didn't get a lot. There were a few things that they introduced in the show where they brought in familiar characters, and those characters served really nothing. I don't know why they brought in these characters, just to offer like maybe I don't want to say a reprieve, but to offer a thing that benefited our characters in that moment, in that episode. And while they planted seeds for future things, there really wasn't anything that come from that. I imagine probably in retrospect, after we watch the boys finale, that this season will actually, and its finale will actually age a lot better. But I don't think
Maybe.
it is a maybe. I don't think though it's not good though. Like you, again, it is a maybe, but you shouldn't be doing a show that's going to merge with this show. It's like, what's a good example? It would be like the Mandalorian season finale
And the
looking
Boba
better if we
Fett.
got a Book of Boba Fett season 2. When we watch the Book of Boba Fett, it's like, oh, it makes the Mando season finale so much better. Like that kind of a thing. I don't think that that's the way to go about it. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed this season 2. I think it was really like a good amount of fun. And this finale, it doesn't live up to my all-time high standard bar for what a finale should be with a show, but I like some of the things that we got in this episode. I like where our characters kind of got, and I like some of the other things that they had appear in this episode. I just wish that it was executed a little bit stronger.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty in line with you. I think for me, I maybe enjoyed it a bit more because trying to dance around it in the spoiler section last week, I feel like everything that happened went down kind of as I expected it. So I guess that's where I'm coming from, where it's like, oh, I think they'll do this, and they did this. And yeah, I think there was some strengths here. They tied off some storylines. Um, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. I think like what you're talking about, how it's connected. I just don't know. Is it going to be to the situation where it will help or hurt it? Because I'm trying to think of the best way to say this without spoilers. So I'll say this, and I hope this isn't much of a spoiler, and I don't think it is. I think I said I not I think I know I said this to you earlier that to me, if the other spinoffs, obviously Vought Rising is way in the past, right? So I don't think we have to worry about that. And then if the Boys Mexico, we don't know the plot of that, but if that's not connected, I think the spin-offs are going to serve much better if they're not directly connected to the main continuity of The Boys, which obviously The Boys is ending next year, right? So that shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't have to worry about connecting there. And I think that's the problem where sometimes the show does have its own personality and its own agenda, and then other times it does feel like, and not too much to The Boys, but it almost feels like like I don't think they exist, but I would wonder if you just watch Gen V, how you would feel about the finale, you know? Because let's say you didn't watch The Boys, and I'm sure they do, right? I'm sure the crossover's there, so I'm sure they're not worried about that. But as we've seen before when we talked about MCU and other stuff, we even talked about that in that Kylo Ren film episode where it's like people doing homework and watching things that are connected, they still do that, but I think people have a lot less attention span now just because the amount of content there is, right? And don't have to feel like, oh, I gotta watch these 8 episodes, this, that. And I'm not saying it does that. I just feel that they set certain stakes. And again, my biggest complaint for this whole season, and it continues with the finale, that overall still the finale good, characters good, we got some arcs going on, it's still a pass. And I think I might still technically like season 2 better than season 1, but these characters, they just get out of the odds so quickly, you know. And even then, this felt like this was going to be a very big situation, felt like it was handled pretty easily. And I think the other thing that's tough too for me is I wish it was more secluded to just these characters. In this episode, they start to introduce other characters and stuff we've seen before, but other characters and other ramifications. Like, if you do this, this might impact that, and if you do that, that's going to impact this person. But I think the resolution's quite easy, and I think they figure out a way to just kind of dovetail, like, oh, that was crazy, right? Well, let's see what happens next year, you know? So again, there were some good moments here. I think I sound more negative than I am. Overall, if you were to say, hey, did you like it? Yes, but on like a critical level, there's things where I enjoyed it, but it's not going to be, and I don't think Gen V was either. It's not going to be like my top 10 shows of the year or anything like that, right? I think Gen V had its issues with The Boys. Other than last season, every season of The Boys coming out did that. And I think that's sometimes the show feels a little handcuffed by The Boys of they can't do too much or stretch too thin. And I'm kind of at odds of where they end this show. It ends in a way where I don't know if I feel like there's no good answer because they're saying something in the ending, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of lame if you did that. And then they went against it, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then once they went against it, I'm like, do I even want this though? Like, I don't know. It's a tricky place because I like all these characters and I like the world of The Boys. I do think that we really, like, I guess they can talk about season 3. We'd have to see what happens in The Boys finale. I know it's called Gen V, but they gotta, like, there's nothing to do with that school anymore. You know, like that school just feels so like the school is so minor in this episode, but or in this season. But you know, we'll see here. So we got some people in chat. YT Gamer saying I love them both when you're talking about Mandalorian and the show. I'm assuming, or maybe Boba Fett. Let's see. Every episode has been over 40 minutes, better than Peacemaker. That's a good question, Tara. Which show do you like better, Gen V season 2 or Peacemaker season 2?
I'd say Gen V season 2.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it more than Peacemaker. And so Super Mike's saying every episode has been over 40 minutes for Gen V.
Yeah, I
last
think
week was under the 40.
I think the show was. I think technically with the credits, it was only 35
the
minutes,
fucking
but the credits did get to like
course.
41. So, but even then, Peacemaker's worse, right? Because you tune to Peacemaker's 37 minutes. That means it's like a 32-minute episode, whatnot. And that's where. And again, I don't hold that to that has to be the thing. That's what makes it a bad episode. For me, that's a tough one. Honestly, they're pretty neck and neck. I will choose because we don't. I don't know why Kirkland said. I was listening to Weekly Geek last week with him and Dylan. They were talking about something. He's like, "We don't do ties here," and I'm like, "I'll just throw that out. That's never been like an established rule here at GeekVerse. I think we don't do them because we like the debate. So, as Kirkland says, I won't do a tie." I think here's the thing. I think Peacemaker's highs were higher than this show. Like everything that happened in episodes 6 and 7. I don't think Gen V ever got to that level where, wow, they're doing some really big stuff here, some big reveals, some big character stuff. But I think I had more issues with Peacemaker overall. So I think technically, yes, I'd put Gen V over Peacemaker. Even though, yeah, definitely. Because I think my score, I think Peacemaker's like a 6. And I think definitely Gen V's higher than a 6. It just never got to that height that I kind of felt like we were always in a good mode in Gen V, but we never got to a stellar episode. There's not that one episode where I'm like, oh, this season had blank episode, right? That's where I can see with Peacemaker and say, hey, episode 6 and 7, those were some really great, like maybe almost 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, like really high stuff. Where with Gen V, it just was consistently good. So that's what I would say with that. Let's see. Superman Mike says, I think you guys both give season 1 and 8. That's interesting. I guess we can. I don't know. We're gonna flip it up, Taylor. Off the bat, what would you give this season? Because we're talking about the seasons now. I think I'm like at an 8.5. I think it's better than season 1, but not like a leap and bound. So that's where I think I'm at. So we're switching up. We're giving our overalls and the non-spoilers. I think I'm an 8.5 for Gen V season 2.
I go a little bit higher. I go 8.75.
Okay,
I didn't even no, I wouldn't go a 9. I'd
it's
be
not 9. Yeah,
I'm on the cusp. Like I'm close, but the finale and the semi finale just didn't do it for me.
yeah. So yeah, no, we'll have to see. I think maybe I'll actually go to like a 8.25. I'm doing the versatility. I'm going down one more. It doesn't feel even 8.5 ish, but all right, we've bounced around it long enough. We're gonna take our first ad break, and then after this, we're gonna talk about spoilers. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So before we get into spoilers, just to pimp out because we are getting closer, I got to film some stuff with Kirkland before because he's in Japan now. Kirkland's gone now until Extra Life, so I got to film some stuff for Extra Life. So we're in that mode where we're filming things, talking to people. People will be announced for the trivia battle soon. It's going to be a good time. But yeah, November 8th, 10 a.m. PST. We're staying up for 24 hours straight, hanging out, playing games, doing podcasts, etc. All that good jazz, all trying to raise funds towards BC Children's Hospital. The link is down below. You can donate now until November 9th. Anything you donate's going towards BC Children's Hospital. It's not like we have to hit the goal. If we whatever we make, it goes there. It is tax deductible. They pay for surgeries, they pay for patient care, support for families, all that stuff. That's what happens towards the BC Children's Hospital. So we very much appreciate if you could do that. You can buy a shirt that goes towards it, and if you can't, we understand. You don't always got loose change around. That's okay. Just come the day, join us, watch the stream, share it, like it. We'd really appreciate it, and it's gonna be a very fun day. Like Extra Life's always fun, but I feel like GVA we talked about before, that was just like a rocking and rolling. There'll probably be some fun guests here and there. Well, I know the trivia will be lots of guests, so yeah, everyone stay tuned. It's going to be a very good day. So we appreciate you coming over at that time. All right, I want to jump right to we're doing like a Tarantino. We're going from the end, going to the beginning. I want to go to the end of this. Obviously, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but they're on the run, all our heroes, right? We lost nobody, which I didn't think was going to happen once we lost the real actor of Andre, because I thought maybe even Polarity would, but he even made it. Okay, we did lose one. I don't know if that's what you're smiling about, but I'm not going to count that character. But
That's who I'm thinking about.
yeah, in our main cast of returning characters, we didn't lose anybody, which, like I said, not a surprise. We already had to lose a main character, not by choice, right? Our gang's together. They're kind of, seems like they're all friendly. They're bonded. Obviously it's not perfect, but they're that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy put together family thing, right? Almost like the boys. So, of course, they're talking about what their plans are. I did actually really like the joke when Jordan is it they, them, right? I always forget that character's name, but I remember it now. I love the joke when they're like, "Oh, I got to pee, yeah, me too," and Jordan's the girl. He's, "Yeah, I got to pee too," and he flips into the man, and they're like, "Hey, that's not fair," like, because obviously,
That's brilliant.
yeah, a good running joke all the time in real life, right? Is about easier for men to pee, which is most of the time accurate. You never know. But anyways, this is happening. They do their business. They come back. Lights are flickering, and we kind of talked about this. We said I said it could be Huey. I said it could also be Starlight coming back, and we got that where Starlight flies down and she gets them. And this is where I was torn, Taylor, because I thought so she asked me, "Hey, you want to be part of the resistance?" And I thought, okay, if they say no here, it feels like some of the other stuff we'll talk about where they don't want to mix it with the main show, right? Because Emma starts going off like, "Oh, we're kind of our own thing and we're kind of a team by ourselves." But then she says like, "Oh, well, but we could, create a partnership." So at first I was like, "Oh, if you say no, you make that thing of why don't they ever pop in the boys? It's just because, well, they're on that show, right?" But then they do say, "Yeah, we'll join up." So then my mind went to right away of like, are all these characters gonna be in the boys? Like, I don't. Because like, and not that I don't want that, because like I do like these characters. I think it's just because knowing the boys is in its final season, the boys already has tons of characters and tons of storylines they have to close off, right? So if they're kind of in an episode 2 of just like a rebellion, and maybe there's a point where they need saving and they come in as like a new gang just to help, and Huey's like, who's these? And Star's like, oh, they're some friends. Like, I have to see, kind of like what you said, I have to see how they're used. I don't think how it's used going forward is gonna make this season or finale like top tier. I don't even know if it could make it much better. I think it is the quality of what it is, because I still think they do some things where it's, hey, we don't want to get too close to the boys, but yeah, we'll team up with you. So I really need to see the final season of the boys to see how this plays up for me. I kind of thought, okay, they're going to be on the run, and that's why they don't link it with Starlight, right? Because maybe people are after them trying to kill them, and that would kind of make sense of why they don't join up with the boys, because they're on the run for their lives. Like, okay, I could believe that, right? And Superman Mike says they'll be background cameos most likely. See, and I don't want, like, that's to me kind of cheap then. So I feel like there has to be like a perfect balance of, I don't want them in the show too much, but now that they said, hey, we're going to be around, I don't know if I want to just be background characters either. Like, I would like an episode where they're not vital as far as they have new bunch of storylines, but in helping the team. So I don't know. I'm very mixed on this. I'm going to wait and see. It is remind me of that meme of the boys started, to parody, doing parodies of the DCU and the MCU, but now they have just become that. And it kind of is that. But yeah, what did you take from, them joining up with the Starlighters and that whole squad, it seems like?
I legit thought that they weren't going to team up there for a second.
Me too.
It kind of fooled me, but the whole time, that's my expectation, because this whole time just going on thinking they're going to team up, the two shows are going to combine, like, it just makes sense, and they've talked about it, but it still fooled me. But anyways, yeah, they're teaming up, and I'm totally okay with this. Like, I want to see these characters interact. So when we got like A-Train popping off at the end there, and then
right, I forgot A-Train
popped in, yeah. So I'm down for it. I really, really am, and I'm excited to see they all interacting with Butcher, and how Butcher doesn't like all soups, but he still is working with them.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, of course, shoutouts to Black Noir, who appeared in this episode as well.
Right, yeah, there was lots of boys actually, and even then we got Sister Sage back, so there was lots of boys interactions.
Homelander on a phone.
Doesn't count. But he's fun. He was in last season, so I give it to them. But yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so to that point then, so let's talk about Godolkin. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I thought, because we talked about, how would Homelander react, all this stuff, and I just went, that's where this show, and I will say, I think, suffers from it being a spin-off that's tied to the boys, right? And kind of, I won't say tied to the boys, is in a timeline of the boys, because they keep doing this stuff like, this could change everything for the soups, and Sister Sage is talking about like, you got to be careful how you approach Homelander, and all this setup, and then even Homelander's calling, and she changes it up. Godolkin's doing streams and whatnot, talking about how he's there to cleanse the soups, and how there's all these weak soups around. It can't be that. This whole threat, obviously Godolkin through Cypher has been there the entire season, but this actual threat of him coming out, his whole body, killing people, lasts like under 24 hours, and I felt like they beat him, I guess I won't say pretty easy, but easy enough, like it did not feel what they made up to be. It just felt like they were and that's where I will be interested to see how these characters are in season 5 of The Boys, right? I think it's season 6 of The Boys. I don't know what season we're on now.
I think it's 5, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's 5. Yeah, I think so. So I think so. We have computers. Fact check for me. So for me, it's just that it felt, okay, we have Gen Vers doing their own storyline, and it's going towards somewhere, but we got to quickly shut that off, because this storyline is so big that obviously it would impact Homelander, the rest of the shows, so we can't have this continue. How many seasons stay there?
This will be the 5th. The finale
is the 5th. Okay, so there we go. So for me, this is where something like Invalt Rising or even Boys Mexico, you could probably do a big threat, because you don't have to worry about, how does it impact Homelander and Butcher and all this stuff. That's to me what this felt like. They were trying to make it seem like a big deal and make it seem like it's in the universe. And maybe even when we get to the Boys season 5, they'll have Homelander say some sort of throwaway line. But that's just what it is. It feels like just like anytime the boys with the deep will be like, oh man, I there's a really terrible situation where a bunch of people died. It was so cool, or just something where it's like, oh yeah, we stopped a missile crisis here in Cuba. Or I didn't mean to say that, but like, not that they're getting it again, but just like in the boys, they'll flippantly say stuff like that where they in between scenes went and stopped an atrocity, right? Like saved a crime, something like that, and it's not worth the show because it's not part of the main storyline. That's what this Godolkin thing feels like. In the boys, be like, oh man, isn't that crazy? Like even Starlight did that. She's like, man, Godolkin coming back, Sister Sage feeding all that stuff. I should have known. Like it felt like a full like NPC character just giving you some quick exposition of, man, that sure was crazy. You want to come to the main stuff now? So yeah, it's again, obviously we didn't have Hamish Linklater. I thought he actually had a really good scene to send him off. I thought like again that
Oh
actor's
yeah.
the actor's phenomenal. Like not just the surprise of, but just the actual scene of him talking about Andre. I've said this before. Hamish Linklater needs to be in a bunch of stuff, whether it is big mainstream stuff or people like the Nolans and the Scorsese's. Like they need to get this guy because he's just so damn good in that scene that in any other actor talking about Andre and just oh man he was the best would just feel like okay, which is still a good thing, right? It would just feel like it's just honoring a fallen actor who was important to the show and let's give him some cred. The thing about Hamish Linklater and his performance, he makes me believe like he's just talking about Andre, and it's so heartwarming and it feels so believable. He's such a damn good actor. But yeah, the Godolphin stuff, the whole oh me and Sister Sage have a plan and they're making out and doing all this stuff, and she's like, oh, you remember the plan? Like that's where the only reason I thought he might live is because they kept mentioning his plan, and now it's like, well, that's also gone. So I think the Godolphin thing, in concept kind of cool, but when you tie it to the boys universe, it can only get so big because Homelander, the real big bad, is just over there, right? They even had Godolphin being like, "Oh, maybe we can take out Homelander," So, yeah, what do you think about all this stuff?
I I'm again just disappointed that Godolkin is one and done, not even 24 hours, and he's
Yeah,
been axed. So that's what really bothers me. I would like to have seen a little bit more from that. The whole thing with him and Sister Sage, like we get everything kind of revealed. Okay, it was her plan, and that's how Cypher was on point and knew everything. All because of Sister Sage. So there's that. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. At what point did she or he reach out to her? I guess because she's not as old as he is, but she fell in love with him for some reason,
yeah.
and he would have been like a limbless, charred corpse. I just it's a weird thing. But I. I like their initial plan that it involved Homelander, and yet it wasn't a level of him controlling Homelander. It was a different plan, but
Well, it might have been though, because he
no,
did say
because
that in this episode.
he did say he wanted to control Homelander, but she was like, no, like our plan is for something else. Like we're supposed to use Homelander, not
Right, her
this or
plan.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Her plan, yeah. And so that's another interesting thing too, where you have uh him and his abilities really showcased here. And that's why I wish that they kept him around a little bit longer because you have the Odessa soups, which are Marie and Homelander. And then you've got like the Formula One soups, which is him, Stormfront, and Soldier Boy, which
Hmm.
they don't age. So those are like the OGs. And then yeah, the Homelander, the Odessa ones, which are really hard to tap into. And he couldn't tap into Marie obviously before because she is an Odessa and it's super powerful. But I would have loved to have seen him take over Homelander for just a little bit.
Yeah. Again, that just becomes. I think if you do that, then you make that character that becomes the new big bad, right? And I think they want all the focus on Homelander for next season, and that's where I think it's kind of tough. But yeah, we did say goodbye to Gadalka, that was it. He did take over Marie for a little bit because he was testing himself, taking over a bunch of soups very easily. He's taken over multiple ones, and then he did take over Marie. It's fun to see that actors get to play bad for a little bit and do the scenes and try and kill her friends. Polarity came and made the save. But again, I also just thought how he was defeated was, I don't know, kind of easy. It felt very. I guess it wasn't that fast. It just felt maybe anticlimactic. Of like, okay, he's done. He's gone. I was expecting some twist of like his body was exploded, but he was still controlling Marie somehow. Like I didn't know what was going on, but no, that's not it. She got away and she's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think about Jordan breaking things off with Marie there? I forgot to mention that in the ending.
I think it's fitting. I mean, their relationship has not been working out, and Marie is just kind of like mentally abusing Jordan to the degree
Yeah.
I'd say too. Like their relationship would have worked out for sure, but Marie just kept self sabotage and not really like she just like she highlights in this episode like, oh, I just let it all go to my head of being the chosen one and all that kind of stuff, and she did because it's what really ruined her in her relationship with her friends, and she should have just you know brought them in like earlier when Emma had a really good moment with Marie, and I can't remember the other one who can control stuff, but just like, hey, like
Kate.
we're Kate, yeah, we're a fucked up family, but we're all in this together. Yeah, like
Hmm.
Emma's, and it shouts again to Emma too, where she was able to just like grow super big and then shrink back down all on her own without having to eat or puke or anything like that. She did it all and just fucking drop kicks Godolkin, which is super badass. I'm super stoked that Emma's kind of come to this full circle moment like that. That's super cool. So
Hmm. And she kissed that dude too, who was there saving.
I told you they were alluding to this. Nothing
Yeah,
platonic. They were
I'll give you
going for it.
that. I'll give you. Well, no, I thought there was something going on with the friendlies because I still thought that was a moment too when they take down Godolkin and they have all their friends there and Emma kicks them and then she's like, I can't remember her name, like, oh, do your thing, and of course she uses her pubes power to tie up Godolkin and and then
That
you
was
have
wild.
yeah, and then you had the friend that touched her and took Godolkin's power for a little bit. So you know what? She says she's a lame power, but she made it work. You know, she took out this big threat. So good for her. Good for that soup. There's still a spot for her on the roster somewhere. Yeah, I thought there was something going on there, and I was wrong. That's fine. And I was still wrong about this, but I will say again another negative. We never came back to that cafeteria girl. So she's still just like living her
Never.
worst life. Yeah, like it felt like a strange, like it's a nice addendum, I guess, like a one episode. Oh, cool, look what's happening. But I thought there was gonna be a bit more. But yeah, Emma did kiss that dude. I will say though, I still think her same way that Jordan and Marie will end up back together. I still think Sam and Emma will end up back together eventually. You know,
I
something's gonna
think so.
happen. He's gonna die. You know, it's just kind of the way it goes. Maybe not. We never know. Maybe Sam will meet someone. I don't know. But yeah, and you mentioned Kate. Yeah, I thought that was a really good scene, like you said, of them bonding, hugging in the some. I think they were in a dorm room, or where were they hiding out at
They
this
were in a
point?
dorm room, yeah.
Yeah, because right, they're talking to other students, and yeah, I think it's good that we finally, right, we got the moment too where Maria healed Kate fully. I wasn't sure what was happening because she tried to heal. God, what was his real name? Hamish Lincoln name? It wasn't it Doug or Blake or something like
I
that.
don't
But
remember.
anyway, so Hamish Linklater, they try to heal him. Marie had just done a bunch of healing, so she couldn't do it. When she was taking so long to heal Kate, I was worried that she still couldn't do it, so they're gonna wait. And I also was worried they're gonna do something where, and not worried, like I would have been intrigued by the plot that Marie was gonna say that she couldn't heal her, like she's still tired, but like Marie was always making excuses not to heal Kate because she was worried. But no, she did heal her. And again, that's where I don't know how this works. You know, I guess it's budgetary stuff. She takes her hand, she heals her. They're both bleeding by the nose, and Kate's like, "Thank you, Marie," and they just cut right away. There's not like to me this should be like a big moment of one, Kate getting her full powers back, but two, this is like a I feel like this is a big moment where Kate was like a semi villain in the first season who betrayed them, villainous in this season. Last episode, they had a contentious argument about, hey, I can't do this because I don't trust you. Kate said, hey, I'll never use my powers against any of you. And when push came to shove, Kate didn't do that. She stuck to her word. So I felt like this was going to be a really big scene for the two. And it was really, oh, cool thing. It was like she had an itch, you know, like, and not the actors. The actors did a good job of portraying that. I just thought there was going to be like, hey, let the actress that portrays Kate, like, let her have like 10 to 20 seconds just to feel like, man, I'm whole again. And it didn't happen, but I liked the scene leading up to that. I did like that scene, barring I could use a little more. And I do like that now. We talked about this. Kate had a bumpy road. I think they're kind of in the earlier of season two. I think some of the stuff they made her so like hating the group and kind of going against them. I think it was all a bit easy for to I want to help you guys. I hate you guys, so I want to help you guys again. I think the beginning of the season with Kate's character was messy, but I think overall they did get there. They did redeem the character. They gave her a nice little arc, and I'm happy that she's a part of the crew. And I do wonder though, like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but I wonder, do you think she still would have been a part of the crew if the Andre actor was still with us? Because Sam, I could
Oh.
see, because Sam was all like he was kind of mentally unstable, right? But with her,
Hmm.
I wonder if she was going to be more on the bad side because season one set that up, and I wonder if it's like, well, we're kind of down a character, she's with the group already. Let's put her like, and I don't know for sure, but what do you think?
I think so. I think so. I mean,
You
they
think like
still
she would have
have.
ended up a good person, or you think she would have been on the bad side?
I think she would have ended up on as a good person. I really,
Okay.
really do. I think that was kind of, yes, they wanted to go in a perfect world where the Andre actor was still alive. I think, okay, yes, you immediately got that 3 seasons. They're already thinking about 3 seasons of the show, but I think you get maybe this season, if he's alive, Kate and Sam being evil for a period of time instead of them becoming good in between seasons 1 and 2. I think you get more content of them being evil and them being conflicted and eventually making that transition back. And maybe with that's Andre's help or whatnot, who
Hmm.
knows? Because I think Polarity wasn't really going to be in this show a lot. I think he was definitely there and present in the first one, but I think with the absence of Andre, Polarity kind of fills in that void a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I guess yeah. You're kind of true. I forgot about Polarity. Who's gonna stay back? He's not going with them. Not
He's staying
sure.
back, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say kind of risky. That guy. Like, I don't think he's gonna just get killed, but I feel like that is risky. You don't know. They could just destroy you because you help them out. I don't know. And that's another thing I will say too, where when they're doing Godalkin puts out these video messages, right? Like, come here, there's a class, there's a seminar, right? And then he kills these people, and you have that one guy who's naked just running down the school saying, "Oh, this is happening." It felt like the Godalkin thing in a separate classroom was it was nothing. Like to the school, it did not feel like a big threat at all. I felt like this guy too, because obviously we have learned about some soups not aging, but I don't think that's like a it's not a not rare thing, right? Even for soups, I feel like it's rare to find those soups that, Soldier Boy, like we've only met two of them in the boys, right? Soldier
Yeah.
Boy and Stormfront, where it's like, okay, they don't age. So here's a third one, and here's a third one that everyone thought was dead too, So I felt like it was very minor. It didn't feel like it had that impact on the school. Sure, they had a couple students say, "Oh, who's back?" and he's hosting a seminar. But then we saw all those characters in the next scene, and they died. So I also thought that wasn't done the greatest. That it felt very small scale. Godalkin coming back. So
Hmm. Hmm.
let's see. Yeah, and Polarity, like I said, I don't know what he's. I don't know. I feel like it's a risk staying there, but I guess we'll see. Hopefully in season 3 if we get it. And that's where, yeah, too. I hope the numbers are there, and I hope we do get a season 3 because the boys would have ended, and I feel that they will have way more freedom. Gen V season 3, to do whatever they not whatever they want, but kind of whatever they want because they don't have to worry about, oh, is this going to impact Butcher, Homeland or anything. They can do stuff and not have to worry. So I hope that. Let's see, great use of the butthole as a Trojan horse. Yeah, that was
Fuck.
but that's something that worked really well as far as the theme of the show. And I talked about the girl at the pubes and that guy. These were characters that would have been looked at as lesser than on the soups thing, right? But they helped beat Godolkin. So it kind of showed that, no soup is lesser than, right? Just like no person is lesser than. Everyone has a skill or everyone can do something that someone else can't do, right? So obviously, yeah, quite the way to travel, but it was it helped them get the win.
Yeah, it really, really did. That was uh that was something. It just Jesus fuck. Shit all my office here. Um that was something else. Just I was not expecting that because you
That's
just see like
something else.
and they foreshadow it too, I feel like, because they keep having to pop up throughout
They
the
did.
season. But
Yeah.
my God, he was like, what is his power? He can just take anything up the ass. Like he had what, six
Yeah.
people in there?
I
Oh
feel like
my
it's kind of like
God.
he's like so in Superman Peacemaker where they have like those pocket universes and go into a different universe. I'm not saying it's that, but I feel like whatever his asshole can do, they go into like he shrinks people. Like that's what his asshole.
Mm.
I don't know if it's other places too that can shrink, but if it's just the butt, then yeah, I guess that just shrinks people. You go in there and then you can travel. Obviously, he still looked in pain to get them out of there. It's not just like an easy procedure for him, right? But
Oh yeah.
it was Son the Fall of Godolkin. So there you go. Um, do you do you think like Godolkin gets mentioned in the Boy season 5?
Oh, I hope so. I mean, Homelander's gonna have a scene where he's talking about, I'm sure, and I mean, it's definitely gonna affect Sister Sage because Sister Sage she left Polarity's vault door open, and it seemed like she
True.
knew how things were gonna go or how it all plays out.
Yeah.
So
Polarity when Black Nurse talking, like, you can talk now. 'Cause I don't forget, but I was just remind of right. That's a new guy, like an actor as Black Noir, who's still some skills, but yeah, it's. I wonder. My theory is with Homelander when him and Sister Sage are fighting, he's gonna list off all these things that she's done wrong, and it's be like. Blah 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 blah. The thing that happened with Godolkin, blah blah blah. Like it's just gonna be like a very quick in the middle. They might have a small argument about like what were you doing down there, but it doesn't really lead to anything with the boys, right? Like it shouldn't
yeah.
have anything to do there. So, are we missing anything or anybody that we haven't talked about that's springs to your mind?
Oh,
Nothing really happened with Sam. Like he was there, but he didn't have like a. I did like he faced off with Emma's new boyfriend there for like a second. Obviously, they might do that in the future. The whole Jean Grey, Wolverine Scott dynamic, but he didn't have really like a big
yeah.
moment in this episode.
This is where, in terms of like characters, I mean, I agree with you. Sam did not have much going on in this episode, but characters that were not really impacting much of the story. Stan Edgar and his granddaughter, they appeared in that one episode, like 2 episodes ago, just purely for the fact that our heroes needed a place to stay, so they get to stay here and have some good food at Stan Edgar's house. So I think that's a con. Like, why introduce that? Because their whole plan is like, if you can get to Godolkin, then we can find a way to stop Homelander. That's all it is. But
Yeah, and
it's
yeah.
unfortunate because there wasn't any juice to follow up with this. I thought for sure that we would get something, but no.
That I guess could tie into if the Genviers are in an episode or two, they have that connection with Giancarlo, right? So maybe they can tie that back together. But yeah, I think it was as of now didn't go much place. Super Mike says Sam was the biggest disappointment this season. They gave him nothing to work with. Biggest disappointment this season. That's interesting to think about because I did really like the episode where he went home. I thought that was a good episode. I liked that as far as they thought their kid died at what, like 7 or 11, somewhere around then. They only have a certain amount of stuff, and then like the parents can't talk to him because of X, Y, and Z. Vought fucking him over, right? And then when he gets there, he thinks like he's so paranoid. He thinks his parents are gonna call Vought. So I did really like that episode. I liked him in I liked him for the first, I'd say 4. I'd say in the back half, yes. I think like we talked about though, that they turned him back good so easily, there wasn't much to chew on there. But so biggest disappointment, like if I had to think about all the characters, because Emma, yeah, she said she's never a disappointment. Marie, yeah, that's fine. She's main character. Kate, uh, Polarity. Yeah, yeah, I could agree with you. I'll agree with you in the back half, Mike. That I think they didn't really know what to do with them. So, but yeah, we'll see. They didn't do much with the puppets either. So,
No, they didn't.
let's see. Talk about Polarity. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Oh, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it. We've already done the rating, unless you change your mind at all. Up, higher, lower.
No, it's still the same.
Yeah, it's still the same. So there you go. So yeah, we've done it. We've done Gen V season 2, the finale.
Will we
and
be
the
there for
entire-
season 3?
Like if it's there, yeah, we'll be there. Will the show be there? And
It's the
this is
same
good.
pitch. We'll be there if the numbers are there. We'll do the show
No,
if the viewers are there.
I think that luckily I'd have to look because I just saw on the side there when I was keeping track that I think the Gen V numbers for us did good, and then I also think with the boys being gone, if there is a season 3, a lot of those people that don't watch Gen V will go over to that as like a void, right? Of oh man, I have no more boys. Well, this and even then, if these characters get one episode and they like any of them or even half an episode, they go, oh, I should check out that show, right? So no, we'll be here for season 3. I think it's just the times when we get those 4-show blocks, it's tough for us people. We try our best. We I know people think, oh, that's not too hard, but it's like the watching, doing this. We upload to all the separate feeds, Patreon, editing it, everything, like making the time. It's sometimes hard. So we appreciate people that listen and subscribe, and especially people on Patreon, because you guys, if it wasn't for Patreon, we wouldn't be doing half the stuff we do. So we appreciate all you because yeah, sometimes those 4 blocks, it's tough. So I'm happy it's over. And Superman Mike says, which I agree, they basically completely dropped the political stuff in the back half. I agree, but I think the reason I'm fine with that because they did shift to more of the group dynamics of Marie with her sister. Um, Even the sister for me is somewhat like a disappointment more than Sam because they added her and I just feel like I still don't really know her yet and she's just part of the crew now, you know. And I guess like the way they added her, but I feel that maybe if these runtimes were longer, we could have got more scenes with her and Marie or her and other characters. She just kind of feels like she's literally like that younger sibling that's tagged along.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the reason I'm not worried about that is the dynamics shift into like, can we trust Kate? Is Maria going too far? What's Cypher up to? I think another reason as well too is I'm not worried because I feel like the boys will be riddled with political stuff, you know. So I feel like you're going to get a lot of that there, especially with the stuff that Eric Krepp said today of like, oh yeah, it's he said, yeah, we're doing the storyline. He talked about he says it has nothing to do with the real world. We swear. So it's like I think you're going to get many political stuff, which is probably a good thing for them to change up a little bit because I'm sure we saw last year that there were some people being like, "Oh, the Boys is getting political now. I can't watch it." Even though the Boys from season 1 has been a political show, but sometimes when it's put up to someone's face, they finally see it and they're like, "Oh my god, have I been watching the show the whole time it's political?" It's like, "Yeah, you have. You didn't understand what what was going on." But and I get that, Mike. If that's, and I agree with you. When I brought the cafeteria lady, I really like that storyline of what does it mean to be a human right now in a world that is like run by soups in like a Nazi Germany sort of way, where they will treat you as slaves, they'll treat you as like lesser than dirt. Like, what does that mean? And I think we got a good glimpse into it, but we didn't get the full shebang. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, no, we'll be back for season 3, and obviously next year we will be back for the boys. This final season, that's gonna be a very fun time. Lots of payoffs. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens, and I promise when we are back, it will not be boring.